All right, welcome everyone to the finalists for Lightning Photo of the Year. This is our top 10. And I can just say, based on the conversation that just happened, this is very excruciating to pick the top 10 out of everything. And even the fact that we have two shots in here of the same bolt that are shot from two different angles and edited two different ways. It's been a very fun discussion and a lot of work to narrow this down. But congratulations to everyone that made the top 10. And so I think we're just going to go through these and maybe a little quicker than years past because we have 6 categories now. But to kind of talk about each of these and maybe the couple similar ones we can do together too. So we can start off with this one, which is the only shot we got of upward lightning, unless especially in this category. Another category, maybe with the volcano. I can't remember if that was upward, but I never have the patience to sit around and wait for upward lightning. So I'm always amazed at other people who do. So I love this.
Yeah, super unique. I also think the little bit of light in the grass in the foreground adds to the depth of the image.
Yes.
And also that upward branching is it's like a glowing tree standing in the middle of the field too. So I like all of the different feelings that it gives, and definitely unique, just the kind of lightning like you mentioned. So
yeah, I like that. I actually like that you mentioned the light on the field there, because I do really love that. The only thing the only comment I would have on it, I think, is I like that field could maybe have panned up a little bit more just in case, which is obviously what happened is the lightning went flying off the screen there because it was just so incredible. And obviously this person is pretty close to that tower, less than a mile away, maybe. So that is why it probably went crazy high. But that's easy for me to say now. So, and also for someone who doesn't actually really take the time to shoot these. So kudos to catching this though, because this takes patience, I think, and kind of knowledge that could possibly happen there. So, all right, go to the next one. Dennis, what do you think of this one?
Wonderful bolts. If you know me, I love big bolts with the city skyline and stuff like this. It's not possible in my area because everything is flat here, like in the Great Plains. So I appreciate this perspective of a lightning bolt. So, and it's so bright that the whole skyline lights up and stuff. It's a very, very powerful image, and you almost can feel the energy of the storm. So well done.
What I really like, just one thing is you brought up the light, Dennis, was just that you can almost see a shadow where it's really bright and then it goes to dark where the bolt somehow lit up half the city and the rest remained in shadow. But I do think this person really controlled the white balance, and the tones are really good because a city scene like this can get a little bit out of control with all the different lights and everything. It's very tastefully edited. This one is just, I guess for me, I would say the same thing as you, Dennis. I can never get water in a lightning strike together unless I'm like Tempe Town Lake, a tiny little lake, and I just stand out there and risk getting struck by lightning, and storms never happen over Phoenix. So this is such a rarity that I always think this is absolutely amazing. Bolt striking water is incredible.
There's something poetic about it when you see that for some reason, and maybe it's just because it's different, or it makes you think of, I don't know. Poetic is the only word that comes into my brain when I see lightning on water. So love that.
I think it's really one of those like things where it really creates like this crazy light on it, and also the myth of lightning always strikes the highest point, and then it's like, well, but it's just striking the water. There's like all those towers in the background, but it chose to do that and didn't hit the shore. So I always find that kind of interesting, but it's a very simplistic kind of shot. I think we have another one coming up in a few that, more bolt striking water, which is also like, I think the word poetic would also be as good. So, or a good word to use for it. So we'll move on to the first of our wildfire insane lightning bolt strikes, which we talked about it, I think, in our selections, just what a rare kind of capture this is, and how impressive it is that two different photographers were able to capture it at the same time. And I wish I had been one of them. So, because I remember seeing this, like I said, but what do y'all think of this one?
The main thing that comes to me with this is impact. And impact is one of the big things that, you know, can contribute to the success of an image, and one of those things that helps carry it, you know, up the levels into the finals. And there's no question this image has a ton of impact. I love the color. I love the contrast. I know there are some editing challenges here that I'm going to let Mike speak to as a more of a lightning expert than I am. But there's a story here. There's drama. It's very successful, in my opinion. I love it.
No, it's very successful. There is, you know, having focused a lot on lightning for like 15 years, lightning is really excruciating to capture, and it can blow out really easily, even if you think you have everything set perfectly. And I can, just looking at this one, you can tell with this glow at the top where it comes out of the cloud, there's kind of this circular area. And the bolt itself, as you see traveling down, that there's been some attempt to try to bring the highlights back, because the bolt was probably so incredibly bright, which you can see with this. I don't know, like the light on the smoke creates this 3D feeling where you can see like texture and depth to that smoke cloud. And I know it's because the bolt was so bright, because it lit up one side of the smoke and the other side is darker, so it gives like a really great depth to that. So it's really hard to control that. I do know that there's things you can do, like you can try to blend in some of the surroundings into some of this, but to me, it doesn't take away the impact of this image. And it's also one of those things that we struggle with in the world of judging, which is what means more, the editing or the impact. And this one is just an astounding image. And I'm just impressed with, you know, setting up and being here and getting this, because this is a rare.
Yeah, and the photographer tried to balance the bright bolts because it's shot at f10.
Yeah, so
and it's still a bit blown out. So this bolt must be very, very powerful and very, very bright. So it's a bit, you said it, it's a bit of, you need a bit of luck. Yeah. You are gambling for the perfect bolt. You are making your selections on the camera, shutter speed, f-stop, and so on. And it needs to be perfect if such a bolt hits the ground. So, but yeah, maybe f13 would have worked, but you never know.
You never know.
That's the gambling with lightning photography. So everybody who does it, or who does lightning photography, will know this kind of issue. So I missed so many good bolts because they were blown out, because the f-stop was not close enough. So yeah, that's I
do think just looking at it, this person was fairly close to this, which is also part of the issue, which is you're so close that if it is a bright bolt that maybe has multiple strokes to the ground, then it can really be a problem, even if your f-stop is perfect. And but amazing shot. And that's just getting into the detail, like technical stuff of capturing lightning. It's a tough thing. So speaking of more impact, double impact on this one with the split bolt at the end. Just unbelievable capture here with great colors, sunset, cactus, mountains, and the landing points just make this one of my favorites from this bunch.
And the composition is just so pleasing. So, sometimes we get these portrait orientation lightning shots and it just looks like it should be a postcard. So whoever shot this, go ahead and start making your postcards and you'll be good to go.
Honestly, that is a very great idea. You walk around like the drugstores out here and I see the little postcards with Arizona scenes on it, and this should be one for sure. And then a follow-up, which is a totally different person, but the same storm. I know it's the same storm, and I'm pretty sure it's a different person, but an amazing photo, a different lightning bolt, same storm. Just incredible, because I have a feeling, looking at this image, that they knew that this storm was doing something special, and they aimed to the right a little bit. Because normally with these storms, as we've probably talked about a lot, the rain there in the middle is where most of the time the lightning comes out. And this one was obviously, from the photo before and after, this was spitting out crazy clear air bolts like this. And this photographer recognized the situation and aimed to the right, which is great call. And you still got a little bit going off the edge, even though you crazy went right on this. And kudos for capturing this with all the colors and everything.
My favorite time of the day. I love the colors. So if I do landscape photography in the desert, this is my favorite time.
Yes.
Just right 20 minutes, 30 minutes after sunset, around this, or before sunrise, the colors in the desert are so special. You will never experience something like this in Europe. So, and the storm is at this time, so dream shot in my opinion. So they should come over some year for the monsoon.
Yes, you definitely should.
Mm-hmm.
Although I've been chasing it for a long time, and I don't have anything like this. So
really you have a lot great shots of the monsoon.
I know, but you know how hard it is to get these bolts sizzling out of the top like that. And you know, when we talk about, like, this is your favorite time, Dennis, to shoot, and it's mine too. You have this narrow window of when it's your favorite time to shoot that. You hope you're on something really good, and it's like, I'm here now. I've got 30 minutes. Can you do something for me?
Yes,
and generally it doesn't happen.
But it's kind of same in the Great Plains too.
Yeah,
I don't like the same mothership supercell, for example, would look totally different if it appears around 4 p.m. or just around sunset.
Yep,
it's all about light.
Yep,
it's the same thing like landscape photography for me. So. And in my view, and I love this time of the day.
Yep, I'm with you on that. All right, Jennifer, I know this is one of your favorites.
I'm glad it made the top 10.
Yeah,
because
me too.
It should. So this is another one of our beautiful water lightning shots, and I think I called it creamy or dreamy or something before. I like the balance. I like the depth so much. Gosh, what else is there to say?
It's peaceful, it's calming, it's kind of mesmerizing. The ocean is so, at least from this distance, looks very calm. And in the distance, though, you can see the rain starting to fall, where you can see it coming kind of over the water, like a little bit of, especially out here, you can kind of see that this looks like it's rain starting to move. But this bolt strikes way far away from it's just, no, this is great. Dennis, what do you think of this one? Because I know you came out. I mean, I know you didn't. I don't know if you've been here, but I know you came out this year to go to Death Valley and do some desert shooting. So
I've been there many times. I think maybe 5 times or so in my life. So I know this edge. I think it's Dead Horse Point State Park near Moab, Utah.
Okay.
And if you're standing there and imagine this storm comes close to you, oh boy, dream, but also very, very uncomfortable, because I would you could get killed so easily by lightning there. So, but absolutely fantastic shot in my opinion. I would love to experience a monsoon storm over the canyonlands of Utah. Some challenges here too with the editing, maybe a bit too contrasty for my taste, but overall the experience standing there and the challenge to capture this one would be very, very great and difficult too. So kudos for this.
Yeah. And I think you're right about the fact that I think we talked about last time, it's a very wide angle lens, pretty wide angle. And that bolt does not look like it struck too far away. So it's pretty precarious situation where, I mean, I don't know how long this person hung out here after this, but that would have probably been the indicator to me to run back to the vehicle and pack up. And that storm looks like it's hauling butt right towards, the camera, at least a little bit to the right. So, yeah.
I had to check the focal length.
Yeah.
It's 14 millimeters.
Yes. Yeah. 14. It's close.
Yep.
Oh man. All right. I love this one. I think what I noticed and I really liked is the windmill. Like it's a daytime shot, and we obviously a lot of us use a lightning sensor during the day to capture these kind of strikes, but this photographer had a long enough shutter speed for this time of day to get that windmill to be like solid with the blade spinning, and it looks like it was meant to be. Like it looks like it's solid, but then you realize you can see through it, and so it was spinning. So that's pretty cool. But on top of that, great composition and some nice bolts.
Yeah, the other thing I appreciate about this image is just the quality. When you're zooming in, everything is sharp. The barn is sharp. The grass is sharp. The windmill. I mean, this photographer took great care in, putting together their settings for this, and especially in that daytime lightning, obviously. So, very nice.
Sometimes the daytime lightning is easier to get sharper because you have to be at like f/16, and so then you're not at night. Sometimes you're shooting like more open, like f/5.6, and then can be a little bit more difficult to get that focus locked in. So, but this is great. Just a beautiful, like simple, plain shot, finding an abandoned house and a windmill and getting the bolt to split on either side of it. At least there was two in this. I could sense that if you were in the spot and the bolt on the right hit, but not the left, you'd be so upset that you didn't see where it landed. Where the one on the left, you can actually see that it looks like there's two that land in the distance. So 2 impact points. So very cool.
This is a very good example that you can get very, very well done image, a very beautiful shot, even if there are no big setups, severe weather setups. Just a small thunderstorm rolling through, and you never know. In my early days of storm chasing, I thought the biggest storms are the most beautiful ones. It's not true, in my opinion. You can get better shots in some cases if the setup is a weak one, I would say. For example, everybody knows the Leote, Kansas. Is it called Leote? I don't know.
I think it's It's Leota. But
Leota.
It's really hard to say that. It's really hard.
Leota from 2016.
Yeah.
It was a good setup, but not a major big one.
Yeah.
And one of the best storms. And you were there 2 years ago, Martha, Montana, for example. So these are good setups, but you, even with smaller setups and just, in SPC, maybe in early days, they call it C-Text or so.
Yeah, C-Text days are great.
Yeah, C-Text days. And they are worse to chase, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, where we could chase these big setups with monster supercells and the lightning just doesn't want to show up.
Yeah.
And it's very rare. I feel like it's more on the rare side to get really epic supercell structure and amazing lightning strikes to go with it. And when you're on a storm like that, it's wonderful. But I feel like that's a lot harder to get. And this looks like it's just, a dumping of rain on maybe a slower day, like you said, and then the bolts are better. All right, we'll go to the last one, which is the same lightning strike from our fourth photo, shot from a different angle. Not sure exactly, how, I think maybe a little further away and a little bit more to the I'm going to say like more east. The other one looks like it was a little more south. Like I'm just trying to figure out, because I know how the storm was moving, but this one I think has a little bit more of a restrained like editing, and I like that a lot. And the smoke there still with the light, even compared to the fourth one, the smoke here still has, you know, some nice like density or nice 3D look to it, because of the light kind of helping create that. So any of you, what do you think of this one?
Compared to that other shot, it feels so much more serene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. You get less of that line of fire along the base, so it feels less dramatic in several ways. But it's still such a spectacular shot. And again, appreciation for the editing as well. It's just a different style, and I love how these two images, both being in the top 10, gives us such a good example of how your voice as a photographer matters. And when you're defining your style through the way you shoot, the way you frame something, and the way you edit it, and all of that comes together with the final impact of the image. And so, you know, everyone is going to have their preference. Do I like the softer shot? Do I like the more intense shot? And that's the beauty of art. And in storm photography, it is art that we're creating. So I have deep appreciation for both of these photographers and the image that they came away with.
Yeah, the beauty of art, and also the difficulty for judges to figure out. What's really interesting is, like, so if you see this shot where the bolt is, it looks like it lands right inside the fire. If you look at this one, it's landing this side of the fire. Really interesting, because I mean, these are the same bolts, I'm pretty sure. And so one aspect, it looks like maybe the smoke or something covers it, but you can see that this person looks more, maybe they're more south looking north, where this photographer is a little bit more on the east side looking west, because the bolt is a little bit here, or maybe even, I don't know. It's kind of fun to try to figure out where they were, and then it lets you see that the bolt didn't just strike maybe a little ways away and the smoke made it look orange, but it's actually just right in that fire, which is just nuts.
Awesome stuff.
Super cool. All right, congratulations to our finalists, and I'm not excited about having to vote, because it's gonna be really, really difficult. So good luck.